recent title challenger and number 2 ranked Bellator bantamweight Patchy Mix. First and foremost, how are things today with you, my friend?
Going well, man. Should be number 1 ranked. Lose 1 round to the world title and the world champion or whatever, and they move Pettis in front of me. So with his 5 losses, so the rightful number 1 ranked Bellator bantamweight fighter right here.
Do you think, out of interest, that's a little bit of hype because then they can bill it the champion versus the number 1 contender, if you like?
Yeah, it's a bit of hype. That's why I feel like they put him there. I feel like there's like 15 guys on the panel, and I guess they whatever voted for it. But it's nothing to me. But I feel like I'm 1 round away from being world champion myself, so I feel like I definitely shouldn't lose a rank. I was the last one to fight for that belt, so I should be rightfully number 1.
Well, if memory serves, I believe the Archuleta title fight, 2 of the judges had it 3 rounds to 2 for Archuleta. As you say, that is 1 round's difference, and you're the world champion.
Yeah, like if I've done a lot of 3-round fights, so if had it been a 3-round fight, I win on all scorecards. But I win, a 2, a unanimous decision. But like you said, on 2 of the scorecards, it was 2-2 going into the 5th round, and I gave up that 5th round, instead of kind of not letting my ego take over me. I kind of let it take over me, and instead of trying to just win a round, get a position, take them down, stuff like that, I kind of tried to go into a fight fire with fire. It didn't work out too well.
It was something I was going to touch on later, but whilst we've arrived here, let's talk about it. What was the biggest lesson you learned from that title fight last year?
The biggest lesson I've learned from the title fight, man, is my preparation. I prepared at Jackson Wink and prior to that fight, and he has a lot of guys from Jackson Wink. Cub Swanson's in his corner. There's a lot of people. I let it get in my mind a little bit. My coaches were cornering, I think, with Cub Swanson the week before me. You know what I mean? Like that Friday before, and I kind of felt just like disloyalty. I'm thinking, man, I'm fighting these guys next week, and you guys are cornering with them, man. Like you guys are yelling out the same codes. You know what I mean? That you're trying to give to me or whatever. And I'm thinking, man, I just didn't really like it. So I think the big lesson I learned was to just have better preparation, to have better people around me. From going from Jackson Wink now to Xtreme Couture, and Xtreme Couture was the gym of the year last year. They got coach of the year with Eric Nixon. I work with him, 3 times a week. I work with world-class fighters. Like every one of my rounds is a UFC or 1 or a Bellator guy. It's not like at Jackson's, since they've all parted ways. Like Cowboy went his own way, took like a lot of fighters to the ranch, and then they opened up Jackson's. They had Jackson's Tacoma, but half the fighters went there too. So I don't train at Jackson's Tacoma. It's not part of an affiliate of Jackson Wink. You can't go there and then be welcome back in Jackson's. Like you're shunned if you go there. So I feel like my preparation, man. Like I was in a kind of a bad place just at the gym, and with Wink having outs with so many people, it was hard for me. So now me moving to a healthier place, I think, with Xtreme Couture around my management, I spent a month with the Russian team, just training with Islam Makhachev, Umar Nurmagomedov, Usman Nurmagomedov, all great guys. It's just higher level. I've been able to take advantage of being able to train there and also being able to train at Xtreme Couture with, so many great guys. I helped Marab out. I helped freaking Cody Stamen out. They both are fighting each other, weirdly enough. Kevin Lee, I've been able to get spar with him, roll with him like a motherfucker. Then the biggest thing I think I added to my game was I added Jake Shields. He'll be in my corner, and he's like one of my Jake's like basically, because I'm a grappler, of course. He just took me under his wing. I mean, I'm learning from Jake every day, probably 4 days a week at 11 o'clock every morning. I'm just up at the gym, and it's just me, him, and a couple of guys. He's taking like me, my boy Kobe the Don, shout out. He just won over the last weekend. He's about to make his pro debut at 125, and this kid is a monster. He's a 2-time All-American, Division II All-American. Should have been national champion in my eyes. He's been a great help for me this camp, and me and him are just like star pupils under Jake Shields right now. And being able to also work with Eric has been just so great, man.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, Patchy. I don't know if you follow my account at all. I know that we've spoke previous, but if you actually look, I've spoke to a lot of guys from Xtreme Couture. Eric, Eddie, Cody, Stamen,
Yeah,
Maki
all of them, man.
Solo. I've nearly checked off a lot of the boxes, to be honest. Nearly there.
Yes, man. You know, you got to get my boy. I'm gonna give my boy Kobe your information. I want to get him on here as well. There's so many good guys at Couture though, and they're also open. Like Eddie, Eddie's great, man. Eric's great. Like these guys, and they don't just like. They are really about the whole team. It's not just one. They don't just pick fighters. Oh, this guy's my guy. No, it's broad. You can work with any of them, and they just want to build the whole team.
Yeah.
Like with bringing better guys in, it just makes the room better.
Yeah.
You want the room better. You don't want egos. You don't want if there is drama no matter what gym you go to, but you don't want the drama from the guy that's running it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There should be no drama. You know what I mean? Like, and if it is, it should be kept silent. It shouldn't be broadcasted to other people in the gym. You know what I mean? I feel like that's just more of a toxic environment. So this is a healthier place, man, for sure.
And there is so many looks as well. Like there is a plethora of world-class guys that you can train. Strike them at world-class strikers. You can train grapple them at world-class grapplers, such as yourself. You are obviously in that, of course,
Yeah.
but so many looks.
So many looks, man. Just crazy amount of looks, from weight, sizes. Man, I roll with Sean Strickland when nobody's around. Nobody wants to roll with me, man. I'll roll with Sean Strickland. That dude will beat my ass, but I'm stay in there. But, I got so many good guys from Puna, Pooney, the guy he just won on the LFA last week. There's a whole Hawaiian top team out here. Well, I call it a Hawaiian top team, but like there's a whole Hawaiian team. Dan Ige, Kai Kamaka, Kai Kamaka's little brother's out here. My boy Rodney Kohole, he's from Albuquerque. He came out here for a little bit. AJ Rod came out here for a little bit. There's so many good guys though. I get to train with Julian Arosa. Like I said, Ige, Stamen, Vanavides, Brandon Marino, Johnny Munoz just came out from California the other day. I was able to work with him. There's just so many good guys, man. It's like, I almost feel bad to think back that I stayed so long in Albuquerque and never broadened anything, like just where to go see other places, because I was so sold. I'm so loyal to one place, to the people that I've always been around. Like my corners are the same corners I've had since I was an amateur.
Yeah.
Now I add Jake Shields to it, but it's like, man, I never really broadened anything. I thought the tip of the iceberg was Jackson Wink. Now because you see John, and I love Holly. Holly's awesome, dude. And Michelle's awesome. Just great freaking people. Joey V's awesome. Kerry St. Ledger's a great guy. Even Jackson's a good dude, man. You know what I mean? They're also, they're all great, but I never broadened it. Now when I go and see this stuff in Vegas, man, I'm like, damn, bro, there's so much work. And I feel like I spent 3 years there. You know what I mean? 3 years of my important years of my career. And I was like thinking in my head, I'm like, I spent 2 months here, and the amount of work I got is just crazy, man. Like from my last fight to this fight, I've done double the workload. I've had double the amount of coaches in my ear helping me out. And I've had double the amount of people holding me accountable for, you know what I mean? To make it to practice, not that I've ever had a problem to make it there, to be honest with you. It's just about when you're there. Like I've had double the amount of people to help me reach new levels where I didn't know it was possible yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now let's talk about the fight that was to be, if you like. So next month, Bellator 258, you were originally meant to fight James Gallagher in what is a little bit of a grudge match. I think it's fair to say it's not Conor versus Habib, but it is a grudge match.
Yeah, it's definitely a grudge match. It's team dominance versus SBG, all the way. It is just like Conor versus Habib. It's I'm part of the Russian team as well. I'm part of team dominance. Ali's my guy. He's not just my manager. He's like an older brother to me. And it wasn't even just about that. It was also about my opponent. He's a big bully, man. He likes to bully people. He's a confidence fighter. When he's winning, he's great. He's a confidence fighter. That's it. If someone gives something back to that guy, and I was planning on giving something back to him for sure, man, he'll fold faster than a deck of cards. He'll fold faster than a card house, man, when you take out the cards at the bottom. Like that guy, he wouldn't last. I was going to make him last a couple rounds with me, but he wouldn't. He'd have found a way out, man, So he did find his way out, to be honest with you. He talked a big game and all this shit. Now he wants me to wait for him. It's like, man, I never waited for nobody. I've been in 25 fights. I've never pulled out of. I think I got 25 fights. I've never pulled out of one fight. You know what I mean? And I've had injuries and I've had shit go on, but you never see me not make that walk. That kid's a pull-out merchant, man. He's made. I think he's been scheduled 6 times and he's only made 2 of them in his last 6 or something. That kid's a pull-out merchant. Whether it's him and Cal both pulled out a bunch of times. They just cut Cal. So, you know what I mean? I feel like they should have just put me up against him. He shouldn't have pulled out. I would have whooped his ass, and they should have given him his walking papers too. Because I don't think he's good, man. He don't even belong in the promotion.
Do you think, I want to ask this as 2 questions back to back. A, do you think James Gallagher has been protected by Bellator? And B, who do you think is the best win on James Gallagher's record?
He's 100% being protected by Bellator. I feel at the time, I don't think they're protecting him anymore. I feel like they might not even like his antics because he's been doing this schnick for so long. It's crazy. He's never fought nobody. You know what I mean? I think he fought Roman Salazar. That's the best fight or something. And that guy was in the UFC years ago. You know what I mean? And he was able to guillotine him quick because the guy stuffed his head in a hole and didn't want to fight. You know what I mean? Just went for that shit's kind of corny to me, but I feel like everyone's going to catch up to him. I think Bellator is now on. They've signed so many great guys that they've built up their talent pool. Like they don't need that SBG, that bullshit from that gym no more because those guys were the European market and there's no market out there right now because there's no fans. Like he was being protected because he was selling out all these shows and his whole team was on the card. SBG versus whatever, and they would get a bunch of tomato cans to beat them. Man, let me tell you something. I had 11 fights as an amateur. All those guys are fighting. Dude, I used to sell out shows as amateur. All the shows I've ever been in my area. All the way till I was a King of the Cage. I fought 9 fights for King of the Cage and sold close to $200,000 worth of tickets in those 9 fights, which I've given back to the promotion. So I'm thinking, like he sold a lot of tickets and a lot of people came to watch him in those packed arenas in Ireland. That's why he was being protected because he didn't want to fight nobody. They probably offered him someone. He's like, no, I don't want to fight that guy. So they had to go down the list till they finally get him. You know what I mean? Find somebody. So it's like that whole gym. I see that they're cutting a lot of people from that gym now as well. So I'm happy, man. I think that if you are in this promotion, it should not be because you are doing Conor McGregor's laundry. You know what I mean? It's not because you're flipping pancakes for Conor and cooking his eggs in the morning. Like just because you know the guy and you have a crowd following you, you're fake fighting, like you're fake ass, like you don't fight nobody, so you're fake, And if he was in the gym with me, I'll tell you, I'd be the worst partner for him. I would beat his ass every day, like I do to some guys I probably don't like, and I'd beat his ass every day. I know guys that don't even get over on me, and I've been training with them for 5 years. Like he'd be at the lower level. He wouldn't even be in me, like where we're over here working and Stamen and all of us. We got the best guys in the room. He would be over there. You know what I mean? He wouldn't even be anywhere near us. Like where I work with Jake Shields and all them. You think he's gonna come up and roll with all of us at 11 o'clock? No way. I know so many guys that avoid that shit. Like he's one of them, man. He wouldn't. That kid's not. It's a facade. That's why I say. He says, wait. Man, I never got paid I never waited or got paid to wait in my life. I'm not going to wait for him, who's also an easier fight than I have now, to get paid the same amount of money when I could make it in 12 days. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm going to take the harder fight. I'm going to beat this dude up. And then, I'm coming for I want to come for the belt, man. Fuck it. And if not, then put me in there with Gallagher. You know what I mean? As long as he can make it. And chances are he probably won't. So if not, we schedule us again after I whoop this dude's ass. Schedule us again. If he don't make it, I'll fight a different guy. You know what I mean? Like really what it comes down to.
What was your first reaction when you found out James Gallagher had pulled out of the fight?
I knew it. I just knew it. Like I knew he wouldn't make it to a fight with me. He signed man, I smoked the dude that knocked him out in 60 seconds. The guy's pulled out of fights because he's had panic attacks. You don't think he's having a panic attack at home thinking about me? I've never lost a fight. I've never lost in 24 fights. I go against a world champion. he bests me barely. I mean, barely bests me, survives me at that. You know, I never took a step back. I chased him down the whole fucking fight. So when I'm chasing him, it's like, you know, and then you got Gallagher telling me he's going to spark me or he's going to choke you out. It's like, I didn't know if he was even believing it. To be honest with you, when he signed to fight me to begin with, I thought Bellator just might not have didn't like him anymore or something. You know what I mean? Because in my head, I'm thinking, how the fuck is this guy going to sign to fight me? And I didn't want to be too arrogant. I almost tried to assess his skills and be like, you know, he's good enough. But to be honest with you, like, and I was trying to even butter it up at the end. I was like, yeah, he's got good. I did mad interviews. I was like, he's got skills. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's got good. I was trying to actually like butter it up so he didn't do this. But no, he went running, man. You know, I think he kinked his shoulder. Man, my whole body's all kinked up right now. Like, I did 50-some rounds grappling this week. I did fucking 20 rounds sparring. Like, you don't think my body's all kinked up too? It's like, you make it to the show, man, you know?
Yeah.
You don't sign it on the contract and then you just pull out. Like, he's a pull-out merchant, man.
So is the intention in it? I like to ask people this question because I find it quite interesting. I like to say, what would an ideal 12 months period look like for you? So if we presume to April 20,
from 12 months from now?
So from April 2021 to April 2022, would it be win this fight next month, fight James Gallagher, and then fight for a world title? Or is there something different?
I want to win this fight next month. I want to fight Gallagher before July or August. I don't want to wait no more. I think he's going to buy as much time as he needs to you know, like I said, he's going to need to mentally prepare himself because he's already mentally weak. You know, he's pulled out of fights because he's mentally weak before, you know, like panic attacks and that stuff. That's like mental. That's something in your mind. You know what I mean? So I think that he's going to need to get mentally tougher and he's going to need to get physically tougher. So I don't think that I think he's going to buy as much time as he wants. Me personally, I want to fight May 12th and I would fight James Gallagher the very next weekend. You know what I mean? I don't care about the promotion. I don't care about the media. You know, I just care about whooping his ass because he said some, you know, some stuff that I didn't like. And if we weren't in the cage, you know what I mean, and he was just in the gym, I would beat the fuck out of him for that. So, you know, I would want, you know, I want to fight him as soon as possible. So ideally I fight May 12th. I go up there and get a finish. I get back to my finishing ways. I get some cage time as well, and I get some confidence back, you know. I finish this man, and then I go and I fight Gallagher before August. I'm hoping I'll finish him as well, and then we'll see from there. You know, I would want to be back at the belt, but if they don't give me the belt, I would love to fight one of those two guys that are in front of me, whether they win, whoever loses against for the world title. So if they don't give me the belt right away, I don't want to look down the list. I want to look up the list. Like I'm looking down the list right now. I'm fighting this guy because Gallagher pulled out. He's not even ranked. So I'm giving this guy an opportunity, you know what I mean, which I don't mind, you know what I mean? You like the opportunity, come try and beat me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come try to get locked in a cage with me for 15 minutes and then we'll talk about the opportunity afterwards. But I'm thinking after this guy, I'm looking back down again because Gallagher's like 4 or 5 on the rankings. I want to look up on those rankings, man. I'm ranked number 2, like you said. So if I could beat this guy, when I do beat this guy, I smoke Gallagher quickly. And I'm thinking like August, man, you know, I'll be 2 fights, a bunch of money in my bank account. And then it's either the belt or it's one of these guys that don't win. Like if it's the belt, Sergio wins, it's Sergio. If it's Juan, it's Juan. But if either one of them lose and they don't want to give me the belt, then it's Sergio. And if it's Juan, like I said, it's Juan. We already seen what happens with me and him in a 3-round fight. So, you know, I don't mind. I want that one back specifically. So I hope he holds the belt, if I'm being honest with you. Man, it does not matter. It don't matter. You play it all the way through.
Out of interest, who you mentioned you want one to win, but I would presume Sergio Pettis is quite a good style matchup for you in terms of we've seen Pettis dominated on the floor. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I've trained with Pettis. You know, we don't talk about training. You know, we don't need to, but I know that I'm capable of submitting him. You know, I know that I'm capable of submitting him. And I know that he's capable of doing well in striking against me. But there's no way his size, his length, there's no way he's going to stop what I'm going to do. Similar to Juan, you know, like Juan was able to stop what I was able to do. Granted, I had some things going on with me in that fight, you know, even before the fight, you know, like I'm talking preparation or my body itself. So getting that one back means more to me. But I think that Sergio is definitely an easier fight. I'll put Sergio on the floor and submit him, I feel. No offense to him. I got mad love for Sergio. And I train with him. I help him get ready for Brandon Marino, who I'm training with now. So, he was getting ready for him August 12th, 2017. He needed somebody that's a backpack. And I was the guy, you know what I mean? I'm the best. I think I'm the best on the back in the world. So, I think it's definitely an easier fight. But I think he matches up better against Juan, even maybe against Juan than maybe I did. Because I don't think that, I don't know, man. I seen Juan get outstruck by Ricky Bandejas. Man, I think Ricky Bandejas beat Juan, to be honest with you. So, like, I don't know. I could see Sergio maybe outstriking him, but Juan being able to take him down. But Juan's not that great on the ground. He's not like, he's good at defending, don't get me wrong, but he's not like a top guy that's going to submit you. He's going to try to knock you out from the ground, elbow you, shit like that. So I don't know, man. I think that, and we all know he's in the garage or whatever at, we know, like, come on.
Calavita.
Yeah, we all, come on, man. We all need, like, I don't even say shit about that. You know what I say to that? I'm going to go finish him. You know what I mean? And if I didn't do that, you know what I'm going to say next time? I'm going to go finish him. I don't care. I don't care where they're at, what they're putting in their bodies, whatever they're doing. I don't give a shit, I'm coming out there to finish. I know what I put in my body, you know what I mean? And I feel in the training that I do, you know what I mean? So I should be confident in finishing him. But I'm saying that, I've never seen that guy. He's come down and he looks better, which is, it might be testament to his work. I heard Juan works very, very hard. He's one of the hardest workers in the room, I heard. But I'm talking about maybe like the recovery to it, the body, I would never knock him to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not specifically stating that, but I'm saying that he's surrounded by people that puts an asterisk on that, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? There's already an asterisk over TJ Dillashaw's head, so you gotta think past that. You know what I mean? Some of these guys, man, not him, but maybe TJ. Some of these guys been able to cut some corners and do whatever they can to make sure that they're at peak performance. Yeah, but I definitely see him beating Sergio Pettis. I feel like he'll control it.
If you want my opinion, I think one big lesson in Juan Archuleta's career was when he fought Patricio Pitbull, and Pitbull really controlled that fight and slowed the tempo down and made Juan fight his fight. And I think Juan learned a lot about that maybe he employed against you in terms of controlling a fight. Would that be a fair thing to say?
Yeah, I guess in a sense, he just had a sense of 5 rounds, so there's a narrative you could write about it. But realistically, I feel like even if he didn't fight Patricio, Juan could have still done that same thing against me. It wasn't just so much of him. It was a lot of me. Like, I put a lot of energy out in those first 2 rounds to try to finish him. I never had nothing like in my contract where it states, you get X amount of dollars to finish a fight. So when I seen that money, and I'm talking about real money, when I got to those positions, I was like, I want to finish this motherfucker. I want that money. I want that big check. And I knew what I'd get paid after that fight. So I'm thinking, dude, if I win that fight, man, my daughter's set. My daughter is set. My family is set. Because I know who's next. It's Sergio. It's these guys, And I know I can beat those guys. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, I get past Archuleta, it's over. You know what I mean? So I was like, when I got to the back, I used a lot of energy. I burned a lot. Like, I think we got into a scramble in the second round as well, and I was underneath him. Like, he was almost sitting on my chest. Like, we were all upside down and weird and shit. Yeah. But we stayed in that position for like 2 minutes before I took his back. I was like, that definitely didn't help me because I'd never been in that position in training. It was like he had my ankles, but I was over the tie. It was so weird, man. I never seen no shit like that. So I'm saying, just a lesson in itself. The fight was a lesson in itself for him and I. But I don't think that the Patricio Pitbull fight did it for him. You know what I mean? I think that him training with the guys he trains with, very good team, TJ, Cub, they're all really good. So when you get to go with those partners every day, I feel like you just kind of, you kind of all just, if you're training with world champions, you're going to be a world champion. You know what I'm saying? That's why I switched my gym to be around world champions.
Yeah, I see. And something I wanted to mention as well is this card, Bellator 258. It was a bantamweight showcase card. I don't think that can be denied. There was obviously the main event, Archuleta versus Pettis. There was yourself versus James Gallagher. There was Rafael Stott versus Josh Hill, and there was Henry Corrales versus Keith Lee. Out of obviously your fight has fallen out and you've got a different opponent, and Henry Corrales has got a different opponent. Out of Rafael Stotts, Josh Hill, and Henry Corrales, is there anyone else there who you think might potentially cause you problems, or do you see them as good matchups for yourself?
I think all three of those matchups you said are good matchups for me. I don't look at them any way different than I look at anybody in the division, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think I could beat all three of those guys, man. I feel like I match up perfectly with all of them. But well with all of them, should I say. But I feel like the most impressive of them all maybe is Stotts right now. He's on a bit of a tear, but Josh Hill is as well. So, I think Josh Hill's a little older than him. Maybe I'm wrong. He might be, though. I think Josh Hill's been around so long that I feel like he's older, but he might not be. But I think that Josh Hill has a good shot at winning that fight as well. You know what I mean? I think, like, maybe whoever wins that fight out of them deserve the title shot next, because they are both undefeated in Bellator. They both, I think, have 3 wins. Josh Hill has a win over Goyito Perez, which is, that's a good win.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm going to be tied up with this fight than Gallagher. That's my plan. But I could see one of them guys even doing well. I think that Stotts would do a little better against Juan than Hill would. But I think that I definitely could see either one of those guys, if they were to fight, the belt changing hands. But me personally, I feel like I match up well with them. I feel like, honestly, I match up well even with Juan. Like, how they say you have off nights. Like, I've fought in guys that had losing records that did better against me than Ricky Bandejas did. You know what I mean? Like, it's just about how you're firing on that night. And all I'm planning on doing is making sure I'm firing like a motherfucker from now on. I'm not like, I'm making sure if I get to the back, I'm finishing them. That's why, working with Jake's big, man. I get on everyone's back. So it's like working with Jake's huge, man. He's just, dude, this guy's a fucking madman, bro. He wins over Robbie Lawler, Damian Maya, Woodley, all these guys, bro. And he's my coach, man. He's there every day with me. And he's not even just my coach, man. He's like a training partner with me. Like, no one wants to roll with Jake Shields. So you know who has to roll with him? Me. You know what I mean? And you know who's got to do it over and over again? It's probably me. Getting smashed so I can't get smashed no more. You know what I mean? So it's all, I started learning it, and it's all good. I feel really good with where I'm at with the team and the people I got around me right now.
Do you wish in any way that you had a 5-rounder before the title fight, maybe on it? I know it was the COVID, so there was less main events and such, but do you think that would have been a benefit?
I think having the 5 rounds would have been a benefit maybe if I did it, but at the same time, I don't do a lot of 5 rounds.
Yeah.
I think like my grips were a little messed up. I going into the fight, my hand was a little messed up. I had like a broken knuckle. One of my knuckles was broken in the training camp. I never told no one this. This is the first time I've actually came on the media to say this. But a lot of the times where I was choking him and he was ripping my fingers, like that's where it was easier for him to rip my hands, I feel. Like my knuckle is almost like, it's totally healed now. But I was in a cast for like 8 weeks after that fight, man. It really sucked. So like, and I know when it happened in training. It happened like 2 weeks prior to the fight because I had to have Brandon Gibson make me a wrap for my hand. And I had to wear that wrap every time I rolled, every time I did anything. So it was very hard for me to even train. So I think about it like now I'm like 12 days out before that fight, man. I was like, motherfucking, I was like, dude, I need this money. I cannot lose my world title opportunity. You know what I mean? And, it was guaranteed money. So I had guaranteed money for my child. So, I tell you, I could have broken my whole damn wrist. There would have been no way I'm pulling out of the fight, especially if I get a little shoulder injury like Gallagher. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking, I went to a world title fight and fought 5 rounds like that, man. You know what I mean? And I feel like I did well. You know what I mean? I didn't feel it in the fight except when they would ripping at my hands. Like when I'd make a fist and punch, I didn't feel shit. But when I'm trying to choke and they're ripping at my fingers, that's when you start feeling that like kind of small stuff. So I felt like, just being more cognizant in my training, like wrapping my hands correctly, maybe not throwing so hard or getting in firefights so I hit the top of the head and it hurts your hands. Shit like that, man. I got to be very cognizant in these next 12 days so I'm healthy. You want to be 100% healthy going into it. You want to, but no one ever is. So even Juan might have a hurt leg in that fight. You know what I mean? Or he might have one of his arms hurt. That's why he didn't throw his knockout power the way he might have normally did. So that can't be an excuse for me. It can only be a lesson, for my my future fights. Like this fight here right now, my hands and my grips, they mean the world to me. I know that now, having experience. So now, dude, these babies, I'm taking really good care of them, man. I need to take good care of them. Same thing with my feet, my toes, my shins, the full thing. I want to be a world champion. I got to train as such and be healthy as such. Like, I got to be in the cage sparring as opposed to being on the mat with all these guys surrounding me or running into each other. Shit like that you don't think of normally. You got to think about it when you're at this level. Yeah. So now just going into fights healthy and making sure that I can cover all my bases before I step in there, I think is important. So not the 5 rounds experience, but just not that I wish I had 5 rounds earlier than that, but I'm grateful for the experience that I was able to learn in those 5 rounds because it's my first time really ever going 5 rounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that piece of wisdom there, what you just said, is perhaps a great way for us to end. And I'm very happy to hear that you're fighting next month. Obviously, we can't talk about opponents, but I'm very happy to hear that you're booked again and you're still going to be fighting. And I very much look forward to seeing you back in action, both then and in the future.
Thank you, man. And I appreciate you too as well. And we didn't talk much about my opponent, but this opponent's very, very tough. He's got nothing but my respect. He's come out here, took this fight on, I think, 18 days notice because Gallagher, I think, got his period. And then, this guy just came out and he's a gamer, man. He's very, very tough, very skilled. And I'm honored to share the cage with someone like him, May 12th, man. I'm honored. May 7th, part.
And I'm honored to be able to speak to you today and talk a little bit about it. Obviously, we've talked about it in metaphorically, if you like. We can't talk about it, but very much thank you for your time today, Patchy.
Yeah, but I appreciate you too, bud. Hit me up when you get this on there, and I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to share it to my people. All my fans are very excited to, hear some more media and just know that I'm fighting on May 7th.
Yeah, superb. Before we finish, Patchy, how can people find you on social media?
Find me at Patchy Mix on Instagram and then Team Mix MMA on Twitter. Patchy Mix on Facebook as well.
Superb. And as I give opportunity to every single one of my guests, is there anything you would like to say or sign off with at all?
I'll just thank you for my coaches. Thank you for all the coaches that have got me here. A long time training with Harry, Joey V. He's from Albuquerque as well. Brandon Sixgun Gibson. Then moving to Vegas, I want to give a big thank you to Eddie, Eric, Coach Casey from 10th Planet, Jake Shields, Jason Manley, both my jiu-jitsu guys. All them guys, man, all the coaches, man, they make this happen. And also a big thank you to my management team, Dominance, everyone behind the scenes. They do so much work for me. And as well as Ali, man. Ali's like my older brother. So big thank you to Ali, man. Without him, none of these opportunities would be even this easily available for my family. So big thank you to everyone that I just named.
Superb.